Warrant appointment of Sri Bechu Kurian Thomas. By virtue of the power vested in me by clause 1 of Article 224 of the Constitution of India, I, Ramnath Kovind, President of India, do hereby appoint Sri Bechu Kurian Thomas to be an additional head of the Kerala High Court for a period of 2 years with effect from the date he assumes charge of his office. Given at Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, this 3rd day of March in the year 2020, 13th Falguna 1941 Shara, in the 71st year of the Republic of India, signed President of India.
I,
Bechu Kurian Thomas,
having been appointed Additional Judge of the High Court of Kerala,
having been appointed Additional Judge of the High Court of Kerala,
do swear in the name of God
do swear in the name of God
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws. In the hourglass of a legal professional, 28 years is just a dribble of sand. When I sit here, facing the members of this noble profession, whose experiences span more than 4 and 5 decades, I feel humbled by the dribble of experience I possess and the weight of the seat I have just assumed. As I sit on this pedestal, a montage of events spanning more than 4 decades unfurl in my mind. In this imperious ceremony, I feel it of some relevance to share a few of those events, some of which may occur to be emotive in character for me. 4 decades ago, as a 10-year-old, I used to have my lunch at the district judge's chamber at the then Calicut Court Complex. The black-robed men with peculiar white ties hanging from their necks, meandering through the verandas of those buildings that were reminiscent of the colonial times, raised nothing but childish interest. Every day, on my way back after lunch, I used to peep into the hall adjacent to the lunchroom, finding my father seated on a pedestal, listening intently to the eloquent words of those black-robed gentlemen, raised sentiments of pride in me, and my strides back to school were fueled with an air of childish pompousness. In those initial years, none of those sights generated any sensation in me other than perhaps snobbishness. As the years rolled by, these sights must have planted seeds in my mind. By the time the lunchroom shifted to the chambers of the district judge at Kurian, my interest to peep into the court hall intensified. Amusement towards the black robes was replaced by admiration and respect. Though I was not an avid reader, I started searching for articles relating to crimes and punishments. A penchant towards reading matters connected with law started rising. A myriad of the above factors soon saw that seed in my mind sprouting up as a desire to be a lawyer. Being an active outdoor person and as one who used to devote every opportunity available to one sporting activity or the other, my father found me unfit to study law. He tried his best to dissuade me from choosing law, but without success. Once I joined the Government Law College Ernakulam, it became quite evident that my father was right. Jurisprudence, torts, and contracts felt like Latin and Greek to me, and I cared more about the next sporting event than any of the subjects taught. However, much to my parents' surprise, I was able to complete law with a fair amount of pride and glory. The agony of a judge's child, none will ever grasp. To reinforce the integrity of this institution, I was packed to Kottayam to commence my practice. I joined the office of Advocate P.V. Thomas, a true doyen of Kottayam Bar, the likes of one I have not come across, and in whose memory I prostrate, and whom I thank profusely. Under his tutelage, my life took a turn. From an active sportsperson, I changed into a voracious reader of law books. In that office, I became a true student of law. Every case was a learning experience. Every client, an opportunity to learn. Every other lawyer, a teacher. I soon understood that a lawyer is a student forever. Transformation from a lawyer to a judge will not change the situation. A lawyer or a judge, one continues to be a student of law. Change in life is essential to avoid complacency. Continuing as a lawyer would have certainly catered to my selfish interests. Judgeship leads to a life guided by a sense of duty and devotion. I chose the latter, and I'm certain I will not regret it. Studying in different schools all across the state has had an effect in shaping my outlook and approach towards life and people. I hope that I will be able to utilize those experiences while rendering justice. In that process, I am aware that I may commit errors. I seek your pardon if such errors creep in, and I assure you that I will be ready and willing to correct myself whenever the situation warrants without any pride or arrogance. I pray that in my decision-making process, when human frailties creep in, I may be reminded that it is a divine function to be carried out without fear of favor. When I am confronted with issues within or beyond my intellect and capacity, let the Almighty send in those honeybees as he did to the great King Solomon, to disseminate the right from the wrong, the just from the unjust, and the underprivileged from the privileged. In this moment of elation for me, I want to express gratitude. I thank the honorable judges of this court's collegium and all others responsible behind that decision for finding me suitable to be a trustee of the Constitution of India. I have been blessed to have had an opportunity to be a part of Vyasan Koti and Associates, who gave a palladium on which I could establish my practice in the High Court. Advocate David Koshi of Kollam has supported me profusely in all the years and have been a fatherly figure for me in the profession. My clerk, Sri Pradabin, was my greatest strength. His undivided devotion to me had been my source of strength and confidence. My secretary, Ambika, was an epitome of trust and efficiency. I will truly miss both of them. My parents and my siblings have been my pride and my joy all along. Many judges, during their acceptance speech, have referred to my father's guidance that has helped them in their career. Even though I have been my father's biggest critic, I have looked upon with awe his deep sense of justice and his boldness to speak and stand up for his conviction, unmindful of its consequences. Though he had sacrificed a lucrative practice and a social life, I have never heard him whine, even for a moment, about the difficulties of a judge's life. He found fulfillment in every moment of his day as a judge. My mother, Tarni, is a rarity. Though I take after her in looks, I wish I had taken after her in character too. My brothers, Dr. Binu and Bipin, and their families have been my weaknesses as well as my strength. My wife's parents, Mr. C.J. George and Beena George, and her brother John, have been for the last 26 years pillars of great support and strength. My wife's father's enterprise and his devotion to his family have actually opened my eyes. Their faith and confidence in my abilities gave me the courage to truly devote myself to this profession. I thank them profusely. I thank my better half, Meenu, whose unwavering support at all times has been the sine qua non for whatever I have achieved. I have learned the hard way that law is truly a jealous mistress. My wife had single-handedly raised our two children while I missed out on their childhood. I am also indebted to my two children, Suzanne and Tarun, for their love and devotion. I remember with gratitude my cousins, friends and well-wishers from different walks of life, many of whom are here. Naming them would consume a large amount of time and hence I avoid. My success as a lawyer was not due to my credit, but because of the associates at my office. They have been my sword and my shield, and they have truly taught me the meaning of the word loyalty. I believe that I have been lucky to have been surrounded by some of the finest youngsters in the profession, and I cherish every moment I have spent with each one of them. I thank the Advocate General and the President of the Association for the warm words of appreciation Over every mountain, there is a path, although that path may not be seen from the valley. I am aware that I am about to climb a mountain with its path unseen. However, with your support and good wishes, I will be able to tread those paths without faltering. Thank you. Jai Hind.